Hi, and welcome to Talks with Shay. So today I would like to begin with reading from Psalm chapter 32 and verse 8. And it says, I will instruct thee and teach thee in the way which thou shalt go. I will guide thee with mine eye. And so today begins a new month. We're in November of 2023. And I would like to talk to you this month about the series titled Trapped. So for part one of Trapped, I would like to talk to you about decisions. So when I'm talking about decisions, I'm talking about those decisions that are difficult sometimes for us to make, and it makes us feel like we're trapped. It's as if we're trapped in a cage or something all alone by ourselves because we're not sure what decision to make. You know, when I think of just life in general, y'all, life itself, we're constantly having to make a decision. We have to make a decision every day to get up and go to work. We make those decisions. Why? Because we know we need the money to be able to take care of ourselves and our families, right? And we need money to survive. So those decisions, we don't struggle with them too much. But then there's other decisions in our lives that's major decisions that can be scary sometimes, And it's like fear tries to grip our hearts because we are afraid of making those wrong choices. The reality is that we're going to live just like we talked about last week, making the wrong mistakes and things like that and owning it. And it's okay, right? And not forgetting to learn from those mistakes. But when you're having to make those decisions and you're just feeling stuck, and I could testify about that. The beginning of this year in February, I took some classes or whatever, and then the year went along, and then I'm still where I was, and then I'm like, just fear, right? Just gripping my heart, like, what if this goes wrong? What if this goes wrong? So I had to push through that to make that decision to get where I'm really trying to go. And so it's not always easy to make those decisions because, for one, we're not sure, right? We're unsure, and it's that unknown. We're usually afraid of that unknown result, and so it's up to us to make the decision that we're gonna go forward in spite of what we're feeling. Sometimes you just have to press through what you're feeling and just say, you know what, I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. Amen. Amen. Okay. And then make the decision. When we think of not making a decision, we're making a decision still to not do it. So either way it goes, we're gonna make a decision. We're either gonna make the decision to do something that we need to do to move forward, or we're gonna make the decision not to do anything and stay trapped in that cage. So either way, you're having to make a decision. You, myself, all of us, we have decisions that are not always comfortable. And who wants to be uncomfortable, y'all? Okay, let's be honest. New territory is always scary because you don't know. It's the unknown that make us think like, man, what if? And then we think of all the wrong things that can go wrong. But then we forget about what if, all of the things that can go right. And if some things go wrong, it's okay. Just like we talked about last week. We make mistakes, but we learn from it. And that's the important part. Don't let certain decisions in your life make you feel like you're so trapped because you don't know what decision to make. I think of even different relationships that I've been in, like with guys and stuff like that. And I've even heard of other people talking about stuff like that. Some people tend to stay in relationships because it's comfortable, not to have to start over. I've done that. Had low self-esteem at the time, but baby girl doing better. But anyway, so I was like, I'll stay in that situation because I felt like that was easier for me instead of starting all over again, getting to know somebody. So I would stay in these unhealthy relationships that I knew were not the best decisions for me. And so a lot of times it's like, because it's the how they say that, uncharted territory, we don't want to go into. And so we don't make those decisions. We're like, it's all right. It might not be the best, but it's okay. Why wouldn't you want the best for yourself? We should want more for ourselves. Why should we settle for something that we really don't want? And so when I think about even hard decisions sometimes for myself, sometimes decisions for me even hard, like if I have to sometimes have a difficult conversation with somebody, can be hard for me sometimes because I don't want to mess up that friendship, right? I don't want to mess up that relationship, and I definitely don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. So sometimes I'm like, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to hold all of this stuff in, and then who is hurt at the end? I am. So, I'm having to learn to push myself and make that tough decision to have those difficult conversations that sometimes are really uncomfortable and not easy to have, but they need to be had. And so it's the same thing with you. My encouragement to you would be, make those tough decisions. Stop feeling so trapped by not making a decision, because you're only going to feel trapped with not making another decision is when you know you need to and you're afraid to. So if you have a situation that you're looking at right now and you're like, I need to, but I just can't. It's fear that's keeping you back from pushing you forward to where you need to go, and move forward with it. Make that ultimate decision and hurry up and do it and be over with it. And like, whoo, got that over with. Check that off the list and move on to the next thing. Yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable, but it's okay. You'll survive it. We all get to a roadblock sometimes where we feel like we're afraid to make certain decisions. But I want to remind us, and remember, I said us, that God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. And so if we are fighting against the spirit of fear to make certain decisions, it's the enemy that's coming against us. It's not God, because God hasn't given us the spirit of fear. So even though those decisions may be uncomfortable for you and possibly other people, because a lot of times, majority of the times, let me say it like this, all of the times, y'all, our decisions always affect somebody else, whether it's good or not. It's gonna always include someone else being affected by those decisions. So ultimately, you have to make those choices for yourself. And at the end of the day, you're gonna feel better about it. After you do it, it's like that weight going, lift off of your shoulders, because you know it's something that you've been needing to do. And do it, and you'll be fine. And you'll get through it. Might have to cry a little bit, wipe your little tears up, get up, and next on, rolling on. But you make that decision. Don't continue living life feeling trapped behind certain decisions that you know are uncomfortable and hard for you to make because you're afraid of the outcome. God has you. He has it all under control. He already knows what's going to happen after you make that decision. The problem that we battle the most is the unknown for us. We don't know. But one thing for sure, y'all, if we trust God, we're going to trust the peace he's going to give us to make those decisions. And that's what we have to hold on to. Sometimes you're feeling uneasy, then pray about it a little bit until you get some peace, because God's going to give you peace when you're making the right decisions, when he's ordering your steps. Amen. And especially if it's glorifying him, he's always going to lead you. He will not misguide you. We and other people misguide. Sometimes we misguide ourselves. Sometimes other people misguide us, but God will never misguide you. Make that decision that you need to make. You are waiting for that decision to be made. You probably been needing to make that decision. Jump on out of that boat, just like Peter had to do in the Bible, and realize that God is going to be right there with you. Whether it turns out good or not, God is still going to be there. But get out of that cave. Get out of that cave. Get out of that cage, whatever you want to call it. Feeling trapped from making those decisions. You can do it. I believe in you. Now believe in yourself. Make those tough decisions and watch what God will do for you. Amen. Amen. So before I go, I just want to remind you, if you haven't already, check out my website at www.talkswithshay.org. You can subscribe to my videos on YouTube and find me on Facebook. Like my page, share my page. Invite your friends to like my page. And until next time with Talks with Shay, Shay is out. Y'all stay blessed.